What's up, guys? Well, today is not a day I plan on making a video, but we got some pretty cool information this morning, which is our invite structure. Now, this being said, our invite structure does not actually mean anything, considering we've only gotten BFLs for regionals and ICs, so we don't know anything about cups or challenges at this point in time. But yeah, so we do have our information. So let's read through this together. I've looked at it briefly because I was working and stuff came in, and gotta look what I can, but the Pokemon World Championships are the pinnacle of the competitive Pokemon play. Okay, I did read that correctly. Typically occurring in August of each year, that's true. The Pokemon World Championships feature the best Pokemon players from around the globe and me. Players will compete for over $500,000 in prizes. Wow. The title of Pokemon World Champion, something I'm really trying to get, and return invitations for the following year's Worlds. Whatever. Pokemon TCG and Video Game Championship qualifiers will qualify by earning championship points at events throughout the Championship Series season. The number of championship points required to receive an invitation is based on both geographical rating, zone, and age division. The very best players will automatically qualify to Day 2, and some will receive an award for travel to attend the event. I feel like that's... Okay. Top performing Pokemon Go players at the qualifier events will earn automatic invites. Qualification requirements of the Pokemon Unite World Championships will be announced later, and Worlds will return to being a 3-day event for 2022. Players who qualify for the first day will begin play on Friday, and the 2023 World Championships will take place in Yokohama, Japan. Now, immediate notable change is the 3-day Worlds as opposed to the 4 that we had in London, meaning that we will no longer have that Saturday being allocated purely to top 8 into top 4, having each of the games streamed all the way through, and then players being able to compete in the Open that were in the main event and Day 2. It will probably return to a system where the Open itself will take place on Saturday, Sunday once again, and Day 2 players will qualify for Saturday, like traditionally, and players will begin play on Friday for Day 1. So making the trip a little bit easier, I guess, if you want to kind of do tourism or make it an extended trip for some reason, because I know that a lot of players were stressed out about getting to London on Wednesday to check in and get everything done. So that is something that is important to note, meaning that there's no intention of doing this grand show where that extra day is being allocated to like just top cut matches, which I thought was really cool, to be fair, but I think that's probably like a pretty big sunk cost in terms of like what they do for production value. Like, I think even though it's really cool for everyone to watch those top 8 and top 4 games, the amount of people in the venue that are actually that interested was pretty low, I think. And so I think they'd rather just have everyone kind of be doing something on that Saturday, rather than like the stadium area be kind of dead. So, because I think I was sitting in the stadium seating pretty much like all of Saturday, and it was like pretty bleak until like I don't know, I was there for a while, so there wasn't that many people. The 2023 World Championship qualifications. This looks very familiar. So this is pretty much, I think, looks like identical to this season, with the U.S. and Canada juniors being 350, seniors being 400, and masters being 500. So I thought it would be 400 for masters, considering cups would probably be halved, but we don't know anything about cups still. So 500 is the exact same as last year. I guess they were very happy with how many people earned their invite last year. Yeah, and then Europe is 250 juniors, 250 seniors, 350 masters, the exact same. Latin America is 250 across the board. Oceania is 250 across the board. And then Middle East and South Africa are their own region now, with 150, 150, and 250. I don't remember if Middle East South Africa was a region last time, heading into the 22 season, or like the 1920 season, I guess. But I guess this is a newer edition, because I don't remember them having their own category. But yeah, with their own events. I think they used to have like nationals, if I remember correctly. I think like South Africa had a national system still, but now they're back on a CP system with us, which is kind of cool. But yeah, it looks like everything looks identical to years prior. Nothing is crazy. Obviously, without cups being told, it's a little bit of a steep climb for people. I know they did show BFLs as well, but I'll get to that in a second. Best finish limits. Day 2 invitations for those who are going to be ambitious like myself. Top 16 from US and Canada, top 22 from Europe. This is a pretty big change here, where it's going to be top 12 from Latin America and only top 4 from Oceania, which is a little bit interesting to me, because I think there's a world where they could have just bumped Latin America to 12 and kept Oceania at 8, and no one would have said anything, because I don't think it would have made a big difference. But because I think Latin America is a pretty big zone in general in terms of like how many players they have. Like, I think it's very comparable to US and Canada, with how many players, like their player base is. Like you can tell by the IC, specifically when we go down there for LAIC, like how many players they actually have and how passionate of a player base they have. And I guess, I mean, like Oceania doesn't have that big of a player base, but I don't know. It's like one of those like self-fulfilling prophecies where like Oceania has less events, therefore Oceania has less players, and Oceania has less locals, and it's harder to travel, and less regionals, and so then less and less and less. It's just this weird cycle. And top four, like there are, I think like the top 8 Oceania players are like very, very, very good players, like Natalie, Kaiwin, Brent, like these guys, Henry Brand, like these guys are all like incredibly amazing players, and we've seen them all perform at the highest level. Like our former world champion is from Oceania, so like it's kind of weird to see them only cutting it down to 4 slots. But yeah, and then 2 for Middle East and South Africa. But Middle East and South Africa, or no, South Africa doesn't get travel awards, which is interesting. And then players in Russia are not eligible for day 2, which is an interesting caveat as well. I don't really know why, but yeah, so, and then VGC will be announced at a later date because I think they're trying to figure out what their half season means for them, basically. And then they have like half the day 2 invites as well, which is, again, interesting, whatever. But that's the invite structure. So if you are gunning for Worlds, this is the number you're looking for. If you're in the US, if you're in Europe, it's this. Latin America, it's this. I don't know your division, but I'm just going to highlight all of it for one last sake. And now here, championship points page has been updated, meaning this is how many championship points you will earn. What is a best finish limit? Best finish limit is a maximum number of scores that can count for that series, with higher scoring placements replacing lower scores. Now, your best finish limit is the easiest way to qualify for the World Championships, and, well, you kind of just want to get 6 or, like, get as many as you can filled out with good finishes. They don't even have to be good necessarily, but just, like, try to fill out your finishes if you are traveling to a lot of stuff. Yeah. So, and then championship points will be used to determine various awards throughout the 2023 season, including invitations to the World Championships and travel awards, whatever. So, regionals in general, it is the same exact point structure as years prior, where you get the 200 for first, 160 for second, 130 for third, fourth, 100 for fifth through eighth, 9th through 16th is 80, 17 through 32 is 60, 33 to 64 is 50, top 128 is 40, and then top 256 is 30. And I think a majority of regionals will either have our top 128 or 256 kicker. So if you are someone who is looking to earn points at regionals, I think you can safely assume that top 128 is your goal to pick up some points on the way out of the door every time. Which, I mean, it's not a bad goal to get to, but it is something that you can keep in the back of your mind as you're walking out the door to know that you can do that. Yeah, to know that you can look to aim to do something with those. Now, the regional best finish limit is 6, and this overlaps with special events as well. We haven't had any announced for us so far, but they will be announced at a later date. So best finish limit of 6 does indicate that your 6 best regionals and special events combined will be taking place. So even if you go to like 10 regionals and finish, let's say, top 128 at all of them, only your best 6 will count. So keep that in mind when you are planning to go to regionals as well, because you can't get your invites solely off of just top 128 regionals. You're going to have to do something at cups as well, maybe in internationals, maybe like challenges. Like, you don't know that yet. So keep that in the back of your mind as you're planning. For international championships, the best finish limit is 4. This is kind of a it's stupid. It's stupid that they say this because there's only 4 ICs anyway. So the point structure for ICs are listed here. Once again, ICs are the highest paying championship points. So if you're evaluating whether or not to go to an international compared to a regionals and the price point is similar, I would always say go to the internationals, because there is a chance that you can pick up a top 128, a cool 100 points for just top 128ing, which is a lot harder in these days than it seems because of how many rounds we have. But you can play the same amount of rounds to basically walk out with either 40 points or 100 points sometimes. So if like the price point is the same for both, I would always recommend going to an international, also because it's a nice experience. And there will be special events. I don't know if they have listed them. They've listed Europe so far, but none for US and Canada so far. Oceania, Latin America, Russia, nothing here. But championship points are the exact same as regionals, same BFLs that it shares. It's just that they will not be, they just don't give you money, or I believe it's like no money for special events. I guess it depends on the special event itself. But that is our championship structure for this season. Until we get cups, this number doesn't really mean anything, obviously, but locals are set to return in January. I think is what the email said for some organizers. So between January and July, which is typically the end of the season, or I guess like June, whenever NAIC is, That will be the indicator of, let me actually check when it ends. Because I think we should have a day for internationals that are listed, right? Like, it's listed as June. So whenever June 2023 hits, that will be the closing of our season. So between January and June, it's going to be interesting to see, because cups can be held once a quarter, but challenges can be held once a month. So it depends on whether we're going to do this like 3-quarter system, where if we start in January, we'll have like half a quarter into 2 quarters that are full, or if we're going to do just like an open season kind of like, hey, you guys just get 3 cups or 2 cups to schedule, have a good time. But yeah, it'll be really interesting to see how they do it, and if it overlaps with like team challenge and all these other like metrics, because I think there's going to be a lot of stores that have lost their cups across the board due to COVID and people not hitting numbers and not going to locals and stuff like that. But I know locals are out in full force, and people are going to locals. People are going to these 1Ks. Pokemon is like alive and well. Like, people are going out to like, there's like 20, 30 people locals on like a weeknight, which is like really cool to see. I have not been able to go because of work, but like, I know that people go out and they see like 20, 30 people like pretty frequently at weeknight, like locals, which means that like on a weekend cup, it should be pretty big. So that being said, that's your world invite structure. I hope you guys are going to qualify. Let me know in the comments below if that is your goal, if you're going to try to go for Yokohama, Japan. First invite, second invite, let me know what you guys are doing. I will be going for top 16. I'm making that declaration right now, so please wish me luck. We're going to see what happens. And with that being said, I will see you guys for the next video.